Whether you loved or hated Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance at Super Bowl 59, there is no denying that it drew quite a bit of attention and even became the highest viewed halftime show in Super Bowl history. I'm your host, Adam Stowe, from the world of football, and today I'm going to be giving you my picks for the 5 artists I think should play next year's halftime show at Super Bowl 60. Every year, there is so much interest around the Super Bowl halftime show that it gets non-football fans to watch a game they aren't even invested in. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I understand the criteria that they use to determine who the halftime show performers should be, but there's years where I understand the artists that they choose to do the Super Bowl halftime show, and there's some years where I'm totally baffled as to why this individual or group was picked to do it. What I would like to present to everybody today is my 5 artists of various genres that I think would genuinely perform a fantastic halftime show at next year's Super Bowl in Santa Clara, California for Super Bowl 60 or LX. I think it's LX, right? What have you. So I'm sure you guys are going to have your own ideas for who should perform next year's halftime show. There's a bunch of ideas out there on the internet, but I feel like these 5 picks right here, I feel like a lot of people could get behind each of them, and I'm going to go through why I feel like each artist should be picked. And obviously, leave your comments down below if you got your own thoughts, or if you don't agree with some of my picks, or if you do agree with my picks. Be excited to see what you guys think. Now, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it and talk about my first selection, who is Metallica. Now, here's why I think Metallica would be a great act for next year's Super Bowl. They're San Francisco based, so you got that right there built in. You love a homegrown act. The classic band isn't getting any younger. That's right. These guys are getting up there in age, and it would actually be cool to get the famous heavy metal rockers out there onto the stage for a heavy metal performance in a Super Bowl. We haven't had one of those. I'd say do that while Metallica is still kicking. Also, I think I know somebody on this very YouTube channel that would also like to make his case for why Metallica should be the band to play the Super Bowl.
Roger Goodell, Commissioner, as a longtime Metallica fan, I implore you to consider Metallica as the halftime show for Super Bowl 60 at San Francisco, where Metallica originated from. Come on, who says no? I know Dan Campbell wouldn't. So from all the Metallica fans out there, please consider them as the next halftime act for Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kyle, for your thoughts. I want everybody to picture this also. The Detroit Lions go into halftime, down by 10 points to Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Metallica plays a kick-butt halftime show, and in the locker room, Dan Campbell can hear it through the walls, and he gives that team a Metallica-laden speech, and that team goes out there and beats the Cincinnati Bengals to win their first Super Bowl. That'd be pretty metal. Okay, so now my second selection might not be one that a lot of people would expect to come from me, but here's who it's going to be, and it's Bad Bunny. Granted, I honestly haven't listened to a whole lot of Bad Bunny's music, but I do know that he's a big international superstar and act, and he also showed up during Super Bowl 54's halftime show with a little cameo there, so he's got a little Super Bowl experience. It's not unheard of for a performer to come back after previously appearing in somebody else's halftime show. Kendrick Lamar just did that also a few years back. But the halftime show usually seems to be an act that's going to attract a lot of eyeballs internationally and a lot of eyeballs out of curiosity and from diverse cultures from all across the globe. And, I feel like having somebody represent that during the halftime performance is also kind of key. I think that the king of Latin trap, as he's apparently called, on the stage, we'd see big numbers brought in from the Latin community and from across the world. And I think that's something that the NFL would very much like, as eyeballs on their halftime show. If the crusty old white audience had a problem understanding what Kendrick Lamar was saying during this show, then they'll probably have issues with Bad Bunny's set since, well, he sings in Spanish. Okay, my third pick is going to shock you as well. That's what this pop star tends to do on a daily basis, and I'm going to go with Miley Cyrus as my third pick. Granted, Miley isn't as family-friendly as some other pop stars that could have, graced the stage. But if the NFL is willing to allow an artist to call another artist a pedophile on national television, then what's the worst Miley Cyrus could do or say?
I don't think I forgot anyone, but I might have forgotten underwear. Bye.
Sure, she could be unpredictable, but I also think she could put on a hell of an entertaining show. She also previously performed at the TikTok pregame ceremony for Super Bowl 55, and I've seen that one. I think she did a pretty good job with that. She's an artist constantly changing and evolving and expressing herself. And I think putting her on a stage like the halftime show of a Super Bowl could be a defining moment of her career. She's got a great catalog of songs, and I think she'd be a crowd pleaser too. Now we head into my fourth pick, which may be another surprise for everyone watching. I know this list is just full of surprises, but I am a sucker for football history, so I think it'd be cool to see the Grambling State Marching Band make a return. They played at the first Super Bowl and have performed at a total of 6 halftime shows, which I believe makes them the most reoccurring act in Super Bowl halftime show history, if I'm not mistaken. I changed things up after recent years. They could do a lot of cool stuff with a marching band. It's a classic football halftime show. Besides, wouldn't it be cool, like, say, if the Ravens made it to the Super Bowl and we got dueling marching bands? I think that would be pretty sweet. And if you thought that last selection was a bit of a reach, here's the real reach. A selection so good that it may never actually happen. But if there's anything that the halftime show is lacking, it's pure fun and comedy. That's why my final selection is none other than Weird Al Yankovic. As Homer Simpson once said,
"He who's tired of Weird Al is tired of life."
Weird Al would be the true breath of fresh air that a Super Bowl halftime show needs. While making statements and being pure pop spectacles can be cool, an accordion-wielding madman doing a couple of costume changes would probably change the world for the better. Honestly, who would hate a Weird Al halftime show? Think of all the cameos and bits that could make 100 million people laugh till their sides hurt. Because let's face it, the commercials haven't been doing that lately. That will do it for me today, guys. I've been your host, Adam Snow. Be sure to like and comment on this video, and be sure to let us know down in the comments who you think would be a great halftime show performer and what you think of my picks. Subscribe to the World of Football YouTube channel and follow us on social media. The links for those can be found in the description below. Hopefully we'll see you guys again for future World of Football videos. Have a blessed football day.